No way!
Japan!
Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. If you're someone who's been struggling to keep up with reading lately, but still want to understand the world's most talked about books in just 15 minutes, this video is exactly for you. Today, I'm bringing you something special, a deep dive into Japan's hottest 2024 bestseller that hasn't been translated into English yet, but trust me, international reading communities are already talking about it like crazy. The book is called Naruse wa Tenka wo Tori ni iku, literally, Naruse Goes to Take the World. It's a coming-of-age story that absolutely exploded in Japan in 2024, winning 18 major awards, including the country's most prestigious book award. And honestly, you need to hear about it. Here's what this 12-minute video will do for you. You'll understand why millions of Japanese readers are calling this the energy drink of books, literally uplifting them just by reading it. You'll discover the story of a 14-year-old girl who does the most seemingly pointless things, and somehow ends up changing everyone around her. You'll learn about Japanese culture, what going with the flow really means, and why this book is actually a subtle rebellion against that. You'll come away with 3 powerful lessons about living authentically that apply no matter what culture you come from. Let's dive in. Section 1, Reader Reactions and Proof of Impact. Before I tell you the story, let me show you why this book has become such a phenomenon. Skip to Section 4 if you want the story first. This book won something like a National Book of the Year award, similar to a Goodreads Choice Award, but here's the twist. It's voted on by 530 professional booksellers who actually read the books. It scored a massive 525.5 points, taking an overwhelming first place. But here's the real proof, what readers are actually saying about it. Type 1, the I couldn't stop laughing crowd. I made a huge mistake reading this on the train. I was trying so hard not to laugh that people were staring at me. The main character is so ridiculous. I want a friend exactly like her. I read this in one sitting. I literally couldn't put it down. Type 2, the This Changed My Life crowd. After I finished reading, I felt this incredible sense of joy. It made me want to try harder at life. I realized I've been worrying about what people think of me for no reason. Suddenly it all seemed silly. This book made me want to live like the main character, and that's rare. Type 3, the Now I Love My Hometown crowd. This is wild. The book is set in a small Japanese city called Ōtsu, in Shiga Prefecture. Readers from across Japan who've never even been to Shiga are now saying things like, I've never been to Shiga, but now I want to visit. The local song from that city keeps playing in my head. I started caring about where I'm from after reading this. What all these readers have in common. They all say the same thing, after reading this, something in me changed. Not a massive life overhaul. Not an I quit my job and moved to a farm situation. But rather, a small spark of courage lit up inside. The courage to do something they'd always wanted to do but were too scared to try. And here's the thing, small sparks change lives. Section 2, Why This Book Exploded, the 3 Reasons. So why did this book become such a massive hit in Japan? It's because it perfectly answers 3 universal modern needs. Reason 1, it's genuinely hilarious. The main character, a 14-year-old girl named Naruse Akari, does things that are so unexpected and bizarre that you can't help but laugh. Page after page has moments that will make you giggle, groan, and think, wait. Did she really just do that? Reason 2, it gives you the courage you didn't know you needed. But here's the beautiful part, while you're laughing at Naruse's wild behavior, you realize something deeper is happening. She lives by a simple rule. I do what I want because I want to do it. What other people think is irrelevant. In a world where everyone is terrified of judgment, especially in Japanese culture, which is very conformity-based, this is revolutionary. And reading about her unshakable confidence? It gives readers their own shot of courage. Reason 3, everyone can see themselves in it, yes, even you. This is crucial. The book isn't just about Naruse. It's about everyone around her, her best friend, her parents, teachers, community members of all ages. At first, they're all confused or skeptical. They think she's weird, but slowly, they're drawn into her authenticity. They see themselves in the story, the parent trying to be a good role model, the friend Trying to be loyal, the adult. Trying to remember what it felt like to care less about judgment. So whether you're a teenager, a parent, or someone in between, there's a character whose internal struggle you recognize. Put it all together. This book is like an energy drink for your soul. You laugh while reading it, and without realizing it, you finish the book feeling lighter, braver, and more yourself. It arrived at a moment when Japan, and honestly, the whole world, was feeling kind of defeated by the pandemic. And it offered something precious, pure joy mixed with genuine inspiration. That's why it sold over 1 million copies. Section 3, The World and Characters. Alright, let's meet the world of this story. The setting, Ōtsu, Shiga Prefecture. The story is set in a small Japanese city you've probably never heard of. And that's exactly the point. In Western media, when we tell stories, we usually set them in big, exciting cities, New York, London, Tokyo. But this book is set in a quiet, provincial city. The kind of place where nothing important seems to happen. Except, that's where the magic lies. Because the book shows us that meaningful, beautiful things can happen anywhere. In small towns, in ordinary places, in the everyday moments that no one thinks to make a big deal about. For context, Shiga is about an hour from Kyoto, on the shore of Japan's largest lake. It's the kind of place where local pride runs deep, where everyone knows each other, and where change happens slowly. The main character, Naruse Akari, 14 years old. Naruse is complicated. On the surface, excellent student, smart and articulate, comes from a normal family. But her actions? Totally unpredictable. She says things like, "I plan to live until I'm 200 years old," completely seriously. She does things because they interest her, not because they make sense. She doesn't follow social scripts. She's not rude about it, she's just herself. In Japanese culture, this is almost radical. Japan has a concept often summed up as the nail that sticks out gets hammered down. Meaning conformity is valued, and standing out is discouraged. Naruse is the opposite. She stands out, and she doesn't apologize for it. Her best friend, Shimazaki Miyuki. Shimazaki is the everyman character. She's the one who thinks Naruse is insane. She's the one who asks, "Why would you do that?" She's basically your voice inside the story. But over time, something happens. Shimazaki realizes that Naruse isn't trying to be cool or get attention. She's just living her truth. And somehow, that changes everything. Their friendship is the emotional core of the book. Watching someone slowly realize that authenticity is more powerful than conformity. Section 4, The Story, Main Plot Points. Alright, here's where it gets good. Episode 1, Goodbye, Ōtsu Department Store. Summer 2020, during the COVID pandemic. A beloved local department store. The Seibu Ōtsu store is about to close forever after 44 years. One day, Naruse suddenly tells Shimazaki, "I'm going to dedicate this summer to the Seibu store." Shimazaki, what? Naruse's brilliant, insane plan. Every single day for the next month. She's going to wear a Seibu Lions baseball uniform. She'll stand in the background of the local TV news broadcast that films at the store. That's it. That's her entire plan. Why is this significant? In American or Western thinking, we'd ask, what's the point? What are you trying to accomplish? But Naruse doesn't answer to that logic. She wants to commemorate the store. She wants to be part of its final days. So she just does it. And here's what happens. Shimazaki thinks she's crazy at first. But then she starts watching the broadcast every day. Other viewers start noticing, who's that girl in the uniform? Local gossip develops around this mysterious girl. The store's final days are marked by this bizarre, touching tribute. The lesson. Adults constantly ask, what's the ROI? What will this accomplish? But sometimes, the value isn't in the outcome, it's in the meaning. Naruse finds joy in the action itself, not in recognition or achievement. And that's kind of beautiful. Episode 2, From Zeze to the World, M1 Grand Prix. Fast forward, Naruse is now a high school student. Out of nowhere, she announces, "I'm going to become a professional comedian and compete in M1. For context, M1 Grand Prix is Japan's most prestigious comedy competition. Imagine if someone with zero stand-up experience suddenly announced they were going to compete in the Comedy Olympics. That's the vibe. Shimazaki, absolutely not. Naruse, we're going to be a comedy duo. Our name is Zeze Kara, because we're from Zeze, a neighborhood in Ōtsu. Shimazaki, we just discussed this. No. Naruse, yes. And somehow Shimazaki agrees. What follows? 1. They practice comedy sketches in a supermarket food court, not joking. 2. They don't care that people are staring at them. 3. They actually enter the M1 competition. 4. They're competing against professional comedians. 5. Will they win? Does it even matter? The lesson. Naruse doesn't have confidence because she has a good chance of winning. She has confidence despite having no chance of winning. She acts first, believes in herself second. And that courage is magnetic, it pulls everyone around her into motion too. Other wild things Naruse does. Shaves her head as a scientific experiment to measure how fast her hair grows. Memorizes the entire Ōtsu city charter, yes. The official city regulations for reasons. Becomes the MC for a local traditional dance festival. Which suddenly attracts hundreds of people because they want to see Naruse. By the end of the book, everyone, her parents, her teachers, people in the town, has been affected by her refusal to play small. Section 5, The Lessons 3 Things We Learn. Now, here's the real reason this book matters. Naruse is a mirror. She shows us 3 things modern adults have forgotten. Lesson 1, The Value of Playfulness. As adults, we're obsessed with ROI, return on investment. Why would I do that? What's the point? But Naruse reminds us, sometimes the point is the doing. She finds joy in meaningless activities. She pursues things just because they're interesting. And that's not childish, it's actually the thing that keeps us sane and alive. Japanese culture calls this asobi gokuro, literally, playful spirit. And it's something adults lose. Lesson 2, The Strength to Resist Conformity Pressure. Here's something specific about Japanese, and honestly, all modern culture, everyone cares deeply what others think. There's even a phrase, kuki wo yomu, reading the room. It means understanding the unspoken social rules and following them, even when no one says them out loud. Naruse doesn't do this. She reads the room and then ignores it. And watching her do this? It gives readers permission to do the same. Lesson 3, The Freedom that comes from not caring about judgment. In the age of social media, we're constantly aware of judgment. Likes, shares, comments, metrics. Naruse lives through this era. The story is set in 2020. Right in the middle of social media saturation, and yet she acts like none of it matters. What will people think? I don't know, and I don't care. What if they judge you? Let them. For people drowning in the anxiety of judgment, which is most of us, this is radical. And it's liberating. Section 6, Final Message and Your Challenge. Here's what I want you to understand about Naruse. She's not a superhero. She's not special. She's just someone who decided, I'm going to be honest with myself. If she wants to do something, she does it. If she thinks something is boring, she says so. If she doesn't care what others think, she acts like it. That's literally all. And because of that simple choice, she changes everyone around her. So here's your challenge. Tomorrow, do one small thing that Naruse would do. It doesn't have to be huge. It could be 1. Visiting a place you've always wanted to see. 2. Having a conversation you've been nervous about. 3. Trying something just because it sounds fun, not because it's productive. 4. Saying no to something you don't want to do. 5. Saying yes to something you're scared of. One small brave thing. Because here's the truth, small acts of courage compound. The small spark of what if I just did the thing becomes a small fire of I'm actually capable of this. And suddenly, your life changes. Epilogue. The book has a sequel, by the way. Naruse believes in her path, currently only in Japanese. The story continues as Naruse enters university, and trust me, it gets even more interesting. So here's what I'm asking. If this video made you think differently about your own life, please do 3 things. 1. Like this video, it helps the algorithm show this story to more people who need to hear it. 2. Subscribe to the channel. We break down life-changing books every single week. 3. Comment below, tell me, what's your small brave thing? What's the one thing you've been wanting to do, but were scared to try? Your answer might inspire someone else who's watching. Your comments genuinely motivate me to keep making these videos. So please share. And if you're curious about this book, I'll link a couple of resources in the description where you can find more detailed English summaries. Keep an eye out for the official translation. Fingers crossed it happens soon. Thank you so much for watching. I'm genuinely excited that this Japanese story is finding its way to international audiences. Stories like Naruse's remind us that courage, authenticity, and a little bit of chaos, these are universal human needs. See you in the next video. Keep being brave.